Welcome to Liberty Connects, brought to you by Liberty Senior Living. If you're someone who cares about aging well, this is your place to discover what's next and enjoy the journey. Each Liberty Connects podcast is made up of five-minute segments. During this month's episode, we're exploring the fine art of procrastination, eliminating the need to ever have to parallel park again, downsizing the thousands of photos you never look at, digital quackery by self-appointed experts on TikTok, and AirTags, the miracle device that can find that dang remote you know you put somewhere. I'm your host, Lisa Fielding, and let's get started. Procrastination, humanity's favorite hobby. We were going to write this podcast segment yesterday, but then we needed coffee. Then we wondered whether plants enjoy jazz music. Then somehow we ended up watching a video of a raccoon stealing cat food. Time moves differently when procrastination is involved. If you've ever delayed doing something important, welcome to the human race. Procrastination is woven into history. Leonardo da Vinci, often considered one of history's greatest procrastinators, reportedly worked on the Mona Lisa for 16 years. Along the way, he became distracted by studies, sketches, inventions, maps, bridges, flying machines, and enough notebook doodles to change the future of engineering. Apparently, procrastination and genius occasionally share office space. The word procrastination itself comes from Latin, pro meaning forward, and crastinus meaning of tomorrow. In other words, humanity has been saying, I'll deal with it later for a very, very long time. Today, though, procrastination has evolved into an Olympic-level sport. Never before has distraction been so convenient. Your phone alone contains social media, games, recipes you'll never cook, videos of dogs riding skateboards, and at least 7 tabs you forgot were even open. Modern psychologists often connect procrastination to the brain's instinct to avoid discomfort. Sometimes an overwhelming task feels less like a simple responsibility and more like trying to assemble that IKEA furniture without instructions. Our brains respond by saying, perhaps instead we should recognize the junk drawer. And honestly, sometimes procrastination is not all bad. Sometimes procrastination helps. Despite its terrible reputation, procrastination can occasionally be strategic, creative, and even useful. Some people work better under pressure. A looming deadline can create focus and momentum. Others need time for ideas to simmer before making a decision. Stepping away from a problem can create clarity. There's also a difference between thoughtful pause and avoidance. Sometimes waiting gives us time to gather information, even space to process emotions, maybe a chance to reflect on priorities, greater confidence in our decisions, and maybe even better preparation. Look at Leonardo da Vinci. His wandering attention helped produce inventions and discoveries far beyond painting. The problem begins when not today quietly becomes not this year. People procrastinate for all kinds of reasons, including fear of failure, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, low motivation, distraction, lack of confidence, not wanting to be burdened by something in which we have no interest, and fear of unpleasant news or outcomes. Sometimes we delay because the task itself feels boring. Sometimes we delay because the task feels emotionally loaded. Conversations get delayed because we fear conflict. A major reason for procrastination is that you just don't know how to start, how to take the first step. Big life decisions get pushed aside because they feel enormous. Ironically, procrastination often brings short-term relief while creating long-term stress. You avoid the uncomfortable thing for a little while, but the unresolved issue keeps sitting quietly in the background like a smoke detector with a low battery. There are often risks to waiting too long, though. The longer we put something off, the easier it becomes to continue putting it off. Procrastination can drain energy, increase anxiety, lead to rushed decisions, cause missed opportunities, delay important medical care, and rob us of preparation. And one massive result of procrastination can be that it prevents us from shaping our own future. There's always tomorrow feels comforting, but tomorrow does not always arrive looking the way we expected. And the opportunities we have today may not wait around. This is especially significant when it comes to planning the next chapter of your life. There are times when procrastination is harmless. Delaying laundry for a day? Probably survivable. But avoiding decisions about your future can come with consequences. The reality is that making decisions before a crisis happens gives you choices. Waiting until circumstances force decisions often removes options and causes tremendous stress. When people plan ahead, they do gain the opportunity to thoughtfully prepare for what comes next. If remaining in your home or aging in place is your wish for your future, planning ahead is crucial. It allows time for major actions that you may not have considered. For instance, assessing and then making home modifications to enhance lighting, accessibility, and safety within your home. Arrange support systems for care, transportation, meals, socialization, exercise, and more. And create a realistic long-term plan. Whether staying within your home or even moving out, downsizing will, in all likelihood, be a goal. Starting sooner allows the process to happen gradually instead of frantically. Sorting through decades of belongings is not something most people want to tackle under pressure. It takes time, patience, and a lot of emotional energy. And if moving to a senior living community becomes the right fit, planning ahead gives people the chance to explore communities, compare lifestyles, ask questions, attend events, and most importantly, make the decision for themselves. That part matters. Making the choice yourself is very different from having the choice made for you during a crisis. And we'd be remiss if we didn't share this fact with you. At Liberty Senior Living's retirement communities, there is one complaint heard again and again from residents. I wish I had done this sooner. In other words, they wish they hadn't procrastinated. People soon discover that the lifestyle they feared leaving home for is actually fuller, more social, more engaging, and less stressful than they expected, and they wish they'd done it sooner. Instead of isolation and home maintenance worries, they find new friendships, opportunities to try new hobbies, time to pursue lifelong interests, support when needed, and a vibrant and engaging lifestyle. And perhaps most surprisingly, people feel an enormous sense of relief once the decision is made. The uncertainty is gone, the future feels clearer, and there's comfort in having a plan. Not every decision in our lives needs to happen immediately, though. Reflection is healthy. Taking time to think things through is wise. But there are moments in life when waiting too long quietly steals opportunities. Procrastination may be one of humanity's oldest habits, but planning ahead remains one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves and the people who care about us. So yes, sometimes procrastination is perfectly okay, maybe even beneficial. But when it comes to shaping your future, there is real power in deciding sooner rather than later. After all, the next chapter should be one you choose intentionally, not one chosen for you. No more parallel parking. The upside of retiring from driving. Well, nobody dreams about the day they stop driving. But then again, nobody dreams about merging onto the highway during rush hour while being tailgated by a pickup truck the size of a studio apartment. The truth is, retiring from driving may be one of the few life changes where people mourn the loss of something that regularly makes them furious. Giving up driving is a deeply serious topic because driving represents so much more than transportation. It's freedom, independence, routine, and identity, which is ironic considering it is also traffic jams, construction zones, wrong turns, and people who apparently believe using turn signals is a sign of weakness. Handing over the keys can feel overwhelming. Driving is woven into everyday life. It means running errands when you want, meeting friends for lunch, visiting family, and maintaining routines that feel normal. When someone suggests it may be time to stop driving, it can feel less like advice and more like an unwanted invasion. No wonder people resist it. For many older adults, giving up driving can bring feelings of loss of independence, fear of becoming dependent on others, worry about isolation or loneliness, anxiety that their world will shrink, frustration over physical or cognitive changes, and of course, sadness over another major life transition. Sometimes family members or physicians raise concerns before the driver is emotionally ready to hear them, which can make the conversation even harder. And honestly, there's also the emotional reality that nobody wants to go from, I'll pick you up, to, can someone take me for my manicure? There's no magical age when everyone is supposed to stop driving. Some people drive safely well into their 80s and beyond. Others may notice changes earlier. The important thing is not age, it's safety. Here's a few warning signs to look out for. Frequent close calls, fender benders or mysterious new dents, getting lost in familiar places, having trouble deciphering or missing traffic signs, difficulty staying in the lane, trouble moving between the gas and brake pedals, slower reaction times, difficulty turning your head to check blind spots, feeling nervous or avoiding highways and busy roads, Driving dangerously slowly compared to traffic, medication side effects that affect alertness or reaction time, excessive sleepiness, or family and friends expressing some concern. Sometimes the biggest clue is internal. A person may quietly realize driving no longer feels safe or even enjoyable. And if every left turn starts feeling like a live-action game show challenge, it's worth paying attention. Interestingly, older adults are often among the safest drivers on the road in many ways. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, older drivers are less likely than younger age groups to be involved in crashes related to speeding or distracted driving, or they're more likely to wear seatbelts. But aging bodies are more fragile, which means even more minor accidents can have much more serious consequences. That's why the conversation matters. Not everyone needs to quit driving immediately. Sometimes small adjustments can help people continue driving safely longer. Helpful changes can include avoiding night driving, driving during low traffic hours, planning routes in advance, staying off the highways, avoiding driving when tired, and limiting distractions inside your car. Also, and this is important, do not futz with the GPS or Google Maps while driving. Nobody needs to become a cautionary tale because they were trying to figure out how to get that one cool lunch spot. There are also resources available to help people drive safely longer. Programs like CarFit help older adults make sure their vehicles fit them properly for safety and comfort. Developed by organizations including AAA, AARP, and the American Occupational Therapy Association, CarFit technicians check things like seat position, mirror adjustment, steering wheel distance, pedal placement, head restraint height, and seatbelt fit. Safe driving refresher courses through AAA and AARP can also be valuable. Still, though, there are genuine benefits to retiring from traffic. For starters, no insurance payments. No gas prices making you question your life choices. No parking battles. No scraping snow and ice off the windshield. No navigating construction zones designed by chaos monsters. And no dealing with aggressive drivers. There's also the simple joy of being a passenger. You can actually look out the window and enjoy the scenery. Yell gleefully at the driver about keeping their hands at 10 and 2, or judge everyone else's driving from a place of complete peace. As one person put it, I used to wave at people who cut me off with one finger. Now I wave with all 5. Transportation options today also look very different than they used to. Giving up driving no longer means being stuck at home. There are more alternatives available than ever before, including public transportation, taxis, ride shares like Uber and Lyft, senior-focused transportation services, volunteer driver programs, and door-to-door paratransit shuttles. And truly, these days, you can have almost anything delivered to your front door, including groceries, prescriptions, restaurant meals, and 12 things you impulsively ordered online at 2 a.m. And many senior living communities are intentionally designed to make driving less necessary in the first place, with entertainment, social activities, convenience shops, dining, and healthcare all on site. Their transportation services provide the opportunity to easily visit stores, restaurants, and cultural venues. The bottom line is that giving up driving is emotional because it represents change, and change is rarely easy, even when it is the right decision. But retiring from traffic does not mean retiring from life. It may simply mean trading stress for peace of mind, road rage for relaxation, and icy parking lots for someone else sprinkling the salt. And honestly, there is something kind of wonderful about never having to parallel park again. The Great Photo Purge. Why do we have 14 pictures of a couch from 1987? There was a time before smartphones, before cloud storage, before anyone took 47 photos of their sushi and deleted 46 of them immediately. Back then, photos were physical objects, tiny glossy rectangles that lived in albums, drawers with a magnet on your refrigerator, envelopes, cookie tins, and especially shoeboxes. If you wanted to see your pictures, you had to wait days for film to be developed, only to discover that half the vacation photos featured someone's thumb. And yet somehow we keep every single one. The duplicates and triplicates, the ones taken with the lens cap still on, the ones accidentally pointed up someone's nasal passages. That is why many homes today contain approximately 4,000 family photos, 700 blurry vacation pictures, 38 accidental ceiling shots, 14 mysterious strangers nobody recognizes, and at least 3 photos of a wood-paneled station wagon. Before digital cameras became popular in the early 2000s, every photo taken was printed. Digital cameras officially outsold film cameras in 2003, and camera phones started taking off around the same time. By the end of 2003, people were suddenly photographing everything from birthday cakes to parking lot squirrels. Yet somehow, old printed photos each become keepsakes and survived every purge. Apparently, analog guilt is very real. So let's get started right-sizing your photo collection. Not only is this an important step in downsizing in general, it also provides easier access to pictures that you truly treasure without having to scrounge through hundreds that you don't. Your options for photo curating are to digitize, organize, repurpose, or decide to get to it someday in the future. Regardless of methodology, the first step is bravely acknowledging that not every photo is historically significant. Focus on keeping the ones with real emotional value. Faces, moments, stories, and genuine memories. Going through your photos, you can safely and with a clear conscience remove duplicates, blurry photos, pictures of random scenery, photos where nobody remembers the people involved, and 27 nearly identical shots of the family dog sleeping. Digitizing refers to converting printed photos, slides, or negatives into electronic versions to be saved, shared, and backed up on a device. Digitizing preserves your photo collection while dramatically reducing physical storage. There are several ways to digitize photos, including the use of dedicated photo scanners, smartphone apps, or professional digitizing services. Dedicated photo scanners are often the highest quality option, as well as the fastest, since some devices can process photos quickly. This makes scanning especially useful for large collections. While the one-time cost of the equipment may be high, when you break it down by number of photos as well as time saved, it might actually be cost-effective. A variety of smartphone apps make scanning surprisingly simple. You take a photo of the printed image, and the apps crop, enhance, and organize. This is often the most affordable option and sometimes even free. If you're dealing with a large or overwhelming collection, professional services can be a good solution. Some companies can handle everything for you, including scanning and organizing. Some even use AI enhancements to restore faded or even damaged images. Some of these services are local. Others provide safe shipping kits for sending photos to them for processing. Before choosing a service, it's important to read reviews and ensure you are comfortable with your process and quality and with sending irreplaceable originals through the mail. Regardless of the method you choose, if you're digitizing, when completed, back up everything in at least 2 separate ways. This can include a flash drive, computer phone, or cloud account. If you decide you want to keep your print photo collection, there are ways to do that too. Printed photos should be stored in archival quality albums or boxes and kept in a climate-controlled space. Keep negatives and digitize at least part of the collection as backup. And display your favorites. A thoughtfully curated collection is meaningful. There are also creative ways to repurpose photos. Once you have narrowed your collection down, consider turning favorite images into something useful and enjoyable, such as photo books, collages, memory quilts, framed wall art, or family tree displays. And be sure to offer up your photos to relatives. There might be treasures they have never seen before. Well, speaking of treasures, some photos have historical or cultural value. A little research may lead to historical societies, genealogy groups, military or veterans organizations, and universities or colleges that collect donated print photos. Somewhere out there, an archivist may genuinely care about your 1968 parade photos. If you have photos to dispose of, do so responsibly. They should generally not be recycled because of chemicals used in processing, and shred photos for privacy. Nothing says modern identity theft concern quite like finding your childhood school portrait in a parking lot dumpster. As you face the prospect of downsizing your photo collection, rest assured the reluctance is not unique to you. Digital photos are disposable. We delete blurry pictures instantly without a second thought. But printed photos feel different. Maybe it's because they physically existed in our hands. Maybe because they survived decades. Or maybe because every photo once cost money to print, so throwing one away feels oddly dramatic. Or maybe we secretly believe every blurry vacation snapshot is a future museum artifact. Whatever the reason, downsizing print photos is not about erasing memories. It's about preserving the best ones in a way that makes them easier to enjoy, share, and protect. And possibly freeing up one entire closet in the process. Digital quackery. Snake oil just got Wi-Fi. Once upon a time, quacks traveled from town to town in horse-drawn wagons, selling miracle tonics that promised to cure everything from baldness to female nervousness. They wore fancy coats, used impressive-sounding words, and confidently assured customers that one spoonful of Professor Wigglebaum's miracle elixir would restore youth, vigor, and possibly the ability to wrestle a bear. Today, we have digital quackery, the online spread of fake, misleading, or unproven health information disguised as legitimate advice. The original Quacks horse-drawn wagons have been replaced by TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The snake oil salesman did not disappear. He just learned video editing. The word quackery dates back to the 16th century Dutch term quackzalver, meaning a hawker of salves. For centuries, medical charlatans have preyed on vulnerable people by promoting miracle cures, unproven treatments, strange concoctions, and magical quick fixes. Some early quacks probably believed in what they sold. Others mainly believed in fame and fortune. Historically, some remedies were harmless but useless. Others were dangerous. Early calming syrups for babies and anxious adults sometimes contained alcohol or opium. Certain mineral springs promoted as healing destinations turned out to contain radium. Apparently, glowing with health was not exactly meant to be taken literally. What makes quackery especially dangerous now is not that it exists. It always has. The problem is its scale. A traveling fraudster in 1890 could reach one town at a time. A digital fraudster today can reach millions before breakfast. Nearly 40% of adults now get health information from social media. Unfortunately, social media is not exactly famous for careful fact-checking. The internet allows misinformation to spread faster than a rumor at a family reunion. Anyone with a ring light, a microphone, and enough confidence can suddenly become a wellness expert, a health coach, or natural healing practitioner. Some are simply uninformed. Others are deliberately deceptive. There are fake online pharmacies, fake Shark Tank endorsements, fake celebrity testimonials, and now even fake AI-generated doctors. Some artificial intelligence videos look and sound so realistic that actual physicians have discovered deep fake versions of themselves, promoting products they have never heard of or wish they'd never heard of. And then there is the celebrity effect itself. When a celebrity casually recommends a product, treatment, or full body scan to hundreds of millions of followers, people often assume it must be legitimate. After all, surely no one with that many followers would recommend something questionable, right? Well, unfortunately, follower count is not a medical credential. The wellness industry has exploded partly because modern culture encourages quick fixes and easy comfort. If you feel tired, anxious, stressed, older, heavier, or simply human, someone online is ready to sell you a supplement, a detox tea, a powder, a patch, injection, vibration plate, a mushroom gummy, or mysterious capsule harvested from ancient Himalayan secrets. Many products promise natural alternatives, but arsenic is natural too, so that word alone should not inspire blind trust. Digital quackery thrives because it taps directly into fear, hope, and desperation. People dealing with chronic pain, aging and weight concerns, anxiety, or serious illness may understandably want relief. If someone promises rapid results, especially in an emotional or dramatic way, it can be very persuasive. The placebo effect can also reinforce false beliefs. If someone expects improvement, they may temporarily feel better, even if the product itself has no medical value. Testimonials become powerful. People trust peer experiences. Social media rewards emotional stories, dramatic transformations, and certainty. Careful scientific nuance tends to get buried under the headlines like, "Doctors hate this one weird trick." Digital quackery can delay proper diagnosis and treatment. Someone may ignore real medical care while relying on supplements or online advice. Certain products may interact dangerously with medications. Fraudulent pharmacies may sell counterfeit drugs or take payment without delivering anything at all. Weight loss medications are one recent example. The popularity and high cost of GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro have created a booming market for scams and counterfeit products targeting consumers desperate for affordable alternatives. Older adults are especially vulnerable to digital quackery for several reasons. Many seniors are managing chronic conditions, trying to stay healthy, or looking for ways to maintain independence and vitality. Some may have lower digital literacy and may not recognize sophisticated scams or manipulated content. Loneliness and isolation can also make people more trusting of online personalities who seem friendly, caring, or authoritative. And the scammers know this. That is why skepticism is not cynicism, it is protection. A few red flags should immediately raise suspicion. Miracle cure claims, guaranteed results, pressure to act quickly, fear-based messaging, claims that doctors don't want you to know this, dramatic before and after stories, celebrity endorsements that seem strange or overly sensational, unexpected texts or emails offering medications or prescriptions, and products promoted primarily through affiliate links or sponsored content. The safest approach is simple. Slow down. Research the company. Verify medical credentials. Check for FDA approved when appropriate. Look at independent expert reviews instead of testimonials, and remember that a polished video and millions of views do not equal truth. The American Medical Association and the American Board of Medical Specialties both maintain searchable databases for physician credentials and board certifications. Those resources are a lot more reliable than a guy online named Detox Dad 420. Talk to your real medical professional. Quackery has always existed because human beings will always seek hope, healing, and easy answers. Technology did not create snake oil. It simply gave it better lighting, background music, and a subscribe button. Tiny Tracker Big Adventures. Why AirTags are the little heroes you never knew you needed. You know that feeling when you can't find your keys, your wallet, the TV remote, or your sanity? Enter the AirTag. Apple's tiny coin-sized tracking device has quietly become one of the most useful, entertaining, and surprisingly reassuring pieces of technology around. At first glance, an AirTag looks almost too simple to matter. It's small enough to fit in a pocket, clip onto a keychain, tuck into luggage, or hide inside a backpack. But this little gadget has a serious talent for helping people keep track of the things and even living beings that matter most. Think of it as a digital bloodhound that never needs treats. AirTags work by sending out a secure Bluetooth signal that nearby Apple devices can detect. Those devices anonymously and securely relay the AirTag's location to Apple's Find My network, which includes more than 1 billion Apple devices worldwide. You can then open the Find My app and see your item's location on a map. In other words, your missing wallet may be surrounded by strangers, but your AirTag already hired them to help. People use AirTags for all kinds of practical reasons. Finding those vanished keys, tracking luggage, locating a car in a giant parking lot, keeping tabs on backpacks, bikes, wallets, and purses, tracking shipped valuables or important mail, locating tools, instruments, medical devices, and equipment, and finding children or pets who fancy themselves explorers. AirTags have also become a valuable tool for families caring for individuals living with dementia who may wander or become disoriented. Unlike bulky tracking devices or obvious monitoring equipment, AirTags are small, lightweight, and discreet. They can be tucked into a jacket pocket, attached inside a handbag, clipped to a shoe, or slipped into a favorite backpack without drawing attention or making someone feel singled out. And that quiet subtlety matters. For many families, safety is important, but dignity matters just as much. AirTags can provide added reassurance while still allowing individuals to maintain independence and continue familiar routines. Rather than feeling clinical or restrictive, the technology blends naturally into everyday life. And in situations where a loved one becomes lost or confused, the ability to help locate them quickly can provide enormous peace of mind. It's not about surveillance, it is about preserving freedom while adding a gentle safety net in the background. AirTags can also be incredibly useful for individuals who are blind or have low vision. The Find My app supports accessibility features, and precision finding can provide spoken step-by-step directions to even help guide someone directly to a tagged object. Lost backpack? Purse? Technology now says, you're getting warmer. Warmer! You're basically standing on it. And AirTags can be even located underwater, so if your keys take an unexpected swim, hope is not lost. If your AirTag goes missing, you can place it into lost mode via your phone. Once another Apple device detects it within the Find My network, you receive a notification. There's also a clever NFC feature, which stands for Near Field Communication. Anyone with an NFC-capable smartphone can tap the white side of a lost AirTag to their phone and pull up a web page showing the AirTag serial number and, if enabled, the owner's contact information. It is basically the modern version of putting your phone number on your lunchbox, except much smarter and less sticky. Apple designed AirTags with privacy and safety in mind. If an AirTag that does not belong to you appears to be moving with you, your iPhone can send an alert. You can also tap the AirTag with your phone to learn more about it and find instructions for disabling it if necessary. Importantly, no location data is stored on the AirTag itself, and the entire Find My process is anonymous and encrypted. So, your AirTag may know where your backpack is, but it is not gossiping about it. Now for the entertaining part. There are some creative and amusing uses for AirTags, including tracking a balloon's journey, attaching one to a model rocket or a drone, sending a message in a bottle and following its travels, creating party games or scavenger hunts, building invisible mazes with hidden checkpoints, swapping AirTags with friends and leaving funny lost mode messages, and dropping one inside a soft object from a height just to see if you can still track it before it lands on you. AirTags are remarkably simple to set up. Hold one near your iPhone and it quickly connects. The battery lasts a long time and it's easy to replace. Apple also uses recycled materials and fiber-based packaging, which adds an environmentally conscious touch. AirTags typically cost around $24 to $29 each, which sounds reasonable until you realize you now want one for your keys, luggage, bike, dog, camera bag, remote control, and emotional support water bottle. Tiny? Yes. Useful? Absolutely. Fun? More than anyone expected. AirTags may be small, but they prove that sometimes the best technology is not the flashiest. Sometimes it's simply the thing that helps you stop tearing apart the house looking for the remote control for the third time this week. I hope today's stories and insights have inspired you to enjoy life even more. Be sure to tune in on the 5th of each month for more Liberty Connect stories and ideas. Please subscribe to our podcast and share it with family and friends. To learn more about us, visit libertyseniorliving.com. I'm Lisa Fielding. Thanks for joining me.